Nearly a decade after 9/11, U.S. Special Forces kill Osama bin Laden in a daring early morning raid in Pakistan. But the death of the world's most wanted terrorist doesn't mean the end for Al-Qaeda. The men he inspired are more than ready to step into the void.
The leaders are plotting to kill you. Brothers, that's what they're doing today. They're plotting to kill this religion.
March 11th, 2004. It's the morning rush hour in Madrid, Spain. At 7 a.m., a group of men load backpacks onto 4 trains as they pass through the Alcalá station. A half hour later, it's the deadliest terror attack in Europe in more than 15 years. Nearly 200 are killed.
What if Washington, D.C. is hit by terrorists? Maybe a small nuclear explosion, or a cloud of chemical or biological agent. How would our leaders survive? Where would the president go? The government has secret plans to save itself, even if thousands or millions are killed. On an American doomsday. Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. A highly trained crew races to battle stations aboard this militarized 747. It looks like Air Force One, but it's not. It's called the E-4B. It's protected against nuclear blasts and can stay in the air for days. Armed security forces guard the plane 24/7. These pilots are some of the most experienced in the Air Force. Their only job right now is to get the E-4B off the ground as quickly as possible. This drill is called an alert response. They practice it at least once a week because every second counts. This is America's doomsday plane. It's the flying fortress from which the president could run the country and direct U.S. forces in a national emergency.
There's thousands and thousands of kids living on the street, almost an underground class that just slips through the cracks.
Man, it's cold out here, y'all, man.
Chicago really mirrors a challenge experienced nationally.
The youth shelters I wanted to go to, they have waiting lists out of this world.
I've been sleeping wherever I can. I'm just so tired.
The situation that they're in is intolerable and they run away.
Growing up was real tough because I was in the system.
I was raped when I was 8 and 13.
They have to do what they have to do to survive.
When I'm out here, I drink to keep warm.
I've been selling drugs. You know, I really didn't want to.
They are kids starving for affection, for safety, for support.
Angie has broken several rules of her housing program in Chicago. Recent events include a fight with her roommate and sneaking in visitors past curfew. Angie's worst fear is that she's going to lose her apartment.
As a result of all the incident reports since you've been in the housing program, we've come to the conclusion and believe that as of this evening, we're going to terminate you from the housing program.
The 20-year-old transgender, also known as Dee Dee, has just lost her chance to stay off the streets.
Dee Dee, do you understand what I've just said? Have anything to say, Dee Dee?
It's all right.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook.
1972. Washington, D.C. police arrest 5 burglars with political connections at the highest levels.
I said we had nothing to do with this foolishness.
We had no idea it would reach into the White House.
Well, I'm not a crook.
I had become the desk officer for the cover-up.
The president is under fire.
What did the president know, and when did he know it?
It was him or us. Either he was right or we were right.
The questions and answers. The story behind the Watergate scandal.
Spokane County Jail. Here, mentally ill offenders are caught in a cycle of crime.
The jail becomes a mental hospital for some of these people that the system just can't handle.
Besides holding those accused of the county's most heinous crimes, the jail also serves as the 3rd largest mental health facility in Washington state.
There's only one Holy Spirit, and that's me.
The horror is real.
And here, it takes killer instincts to survive.
If I don't try to hurt him, he's going to try to hurt me. So let's just get it on and be done with it.
Now, a spike in crime puts the jail at maximum capacity. Will an elite team of 22 officers be able to maintain control?
Marcelo was a thug with no apparent education and no command of the language.
He had a PhD in understanding people. His power and his context, he didn't seem to have any limit.
I know I was innocent, and I know it would come out the way it did.
The governor's office, state legislature, like the judicial system, were all corrupt under Marcelo's iron hand.
All roads led to Marcelo. He was the guy who was the overseer of everything that went wrong in New Orleans.
As you leave his office, there was a sign that said that 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead.
Lee Harvey Oswald had lifelong family ties to Carlos Marcello's organization. He had an uncle who had become a bookmaker in the Marcello organization.
When Oswald was arrested for disturbing the peace in New Orleans, he was sprung from jail by a man who had close connections to the Marcello organization.
Though there's no evidence Marcello and Oswald ever met, they did run in the same circles and shared a common enemy. On November 22, 1963, Marcello was in court for the verdict in his deportation case. He was acquitted on all charges, but that was hardly the news of the day.
When the court adjourned, they heard that the president had been killed in Dallas.
Near Washington, Bobby Kennedy was devastated and believed his tough stance on the mob may have led to the assassination.
The power that Kennedy had by being the president's brother was immediately stopped as soon as the assassination occurred.
Suddenly, the heat bearing down on Marcello and his cronies seemed to lift. But the assassination wouldn't be the end of all Marcello's problems.
January 31st. On day 4 of the relay, near the town of Shaktulak, the precious serum is passed to one of the mushers, Henry Ivanov, who is added to the relay to speed it up. In Nome, reports of the serum's progress are continually forwarded to Dr. Curtis Welch. Recent weather bulletins say the weather is warming along the trail for the first time in 2 weeks. Dr. Welch hopes the serum will arrive the next day. But just as temperatures shift in the interior, a powerful snowstorm moves toward the coast. By now, Musher Leonard Seppala and his team with his lead dog Togo have traveled 170 miles from Nome.
A murder for hire. This man wants his wife dead, and he's willing to pay for it.
It's a cowardly act. It's one of the most cowardly acts I could imagine.
ATF agent Ken Croak specializes in stopping these murders before they happen by playing the hitman himself.
Trust me, I'm a pro. This is what I do.
What I'm looking to get is, are they serious about doing this, and do they really want it done?
But this time, to save the life of a woman and her baby, Croak will go above and beyond the call. Undercover, behind prison bars.
This is the one she drives now. Yeah. This is the one that you want smashed? Yeah.
Going undercover, using disguise and deception, is the only way to take down the world's most dangerous criminals. But for those who choose the double life, success comes at a price. Once in the meeting room, Croak goes over the entire plan in detail.
I get to the point where now I tell him, I just wanted to make sure you wanted to do this. It's already done.
It's done. I told you to do my part. I told you, I would take care of it exactly, we agreed upon.
It's the moment of truth. Vasco now believes his wife is dead.
I'm gonna be done. But I'll tell you, she didn't go quietly. She's very spunky. Yeah. No, she fought. The scratches on my arms. She fought.
The final step. Croak shows Vasco the photos of the crime. The faked pictures taken with Trisha Vasco's help.